Hello guys, and today we continue our favorite Russian geography lessons because the brave Ukrainian drones provided us with enough important material. Last night they destroyed a huge military facility in Lipetsk region of the Russian Federation city Yelets. The factory was known as Energia and it produced different kinds of batteries for the Russian military. Batteries for their drones, their aviation and their navy. So the destruction of such factory means the problems for very different areas of the production of Russian weapons. It's super important and I'd say strategically clever. And this also means that the world has become a safer place because I totally understand why many of you are very concerned with the growing number of conflicts, violations of the international law in different parts of the world. And trust me, all of this the consequences of unpunished evil, unpunished Russian violation of the international law, the invasion of Ukraine, invasion of Georgia, and it inspires other people who think like Putin. So the best way to stop these other authoritarian leaders or wannabe dictators is to punish Putin, to defeat Russia, and to demonstrate that justice and international law matters. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see Putin in The Hague, subscribe and share these videos to spread the truth, that's important. You know, it became very dangerous to work on various military plants and factories in Russia. And more of this apolitical population that cheered for war in 2022 realized they don't want it to continue and they don't want to work on such military facilities because they are a legitimate target for the Ukrainian defenders. It is according to the laws and rules of war because they produce instruments that they later use to target Ukrainian kindergarten school and so on. And I'm always happy when I learn about the destruction of such factory that was an important part of the bigger production cycle. So a factory known as Energia, and that can be translated as energy, in Yelets, that is a city in Lipetsk region of the Russian Federation, now an active war zone, one of those regions that are often targeted by Ukrainian drones and Ukrainian missiles because of different military production sites there. So that Energia produced different types of batteries that were later used in the Russian army. First of all, for the Russian drones, and you all know that the 21st century war is the war of drones, is the war of artificial intelligence. And to tell you the truth, among the countries on the side of good, on the side of freedom, it's only Ukraine that possesses this real life skills. And that's one of the reasons why I believe we need to remain united more than ever before. Because the other countries are China, Iran, Russia, and I'm not sure they share our values. So the fact that Energia was targeted is important because it provides batteries not only for drones, but also for aviation, for navy, and like when they don't have enough of batteries, they cannot produce some other weapons. So by targeting one facility, you actually paralyze the work of many of them. And also, I need to tell you that it's super difficult for the local authorities in different regions where they produce weapons in Russia to find workers. First of all, because many are now conscripted, and Russia, I'm sure, will start this general conscription in 2026, and that might lead to serious protests. And we already witness a lot of protests in different parts of the Russian Federation against the increased taxes, against the gasoline crisis, which destroyed the salaries of taxi drivers, against absence of heating, what people in the Far East experienced during the super frosty winters, and many more. So this will only lead to more and more troubles happening inside the Russian population. But what's interesting, it's also a problem for the producers of weapons. Why? They don't have enough of workers, and they start hiring them from abroad. And here I have to remind you to subscribe and share, because a lot of people who agree on Russia's offers know nothing about Russia, know nothing about the conditions of life and work there. They agree, they come from some Asian countries, from some South American countries, and then they are surprised to learn that they won't work on, I don't know, makeup factory, but on the drone production factory. And here we return again to this important reminder that any military facility is a legitimate target for the Ukrainian defenders who want to prevent these drones from destroying Ukrainian kindergartens. So people watching from far away, never trust Russian sources. Have a look at the number of their losses since the beginning of this so-called special military operation that obviously failed back in February 2022. And Putin is very far away from reality. He does not adequately analyze the Russian financial status, the problems they have inside their federal budget, the problems they have inside their banking system, the destroyed oil industry. And actually more and more Russian oligarchs express their concerns that soon all of the Russian Federation will collapse because of this inadequacy of Putin. And that's a fact that I believe many do not talk a lot about. Somehow we in 2026 live in a world that is extremely dangerous, that is extremely turbulent, and a lot of global leaders are very unpredictable, mildly speaking, and dangerous. Let's be realistic. But our task is to keep implementing the only working peace plan and keep targeting military facilities like that Lipetsk factory. And what is super important to understand that right now we need to remain united, because many of our enemies are watching and considering their next steps. So Ukraine, with its determination, with its skills of drone warfare, modern war, is an asset, not a burden, I personally believe. Let me know, what do you think? What is the most dangerous spot on the world map right now? I'm not talking about the territories that already experience war, like Ukraine, but I'm talking about some other locations. What worries you the most? Share if you feel like sharing, of course, and remember to subscribe to my other channel with weekly updates, Anna Danilchuk, where we talk about important things like, for example, a quarter of a century that Putin is ruling and destroying Russia. Also follow me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, Discord, all the links in the description of this video, same as the link to our merch shop, where we have a lot of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channels, but most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!